There are a few problems that we're sort of poised to solve in Hutto. One of them is the lack of third spaces, so spaces to get together and spend time in a positive, enriching way outside of work, home, school. Also, the culture of isolation that is really rampant, especially among creative types who might not really have any other extracurriculars other than something like reading or writing. And Hutto also needs a place for community gatherings. Hutto is growing rapidly. The median household income is well above average for the Austin metro area, which is really promising for something like a bookshop, which is not a necessity, but is technically more of a luxury item. Although for me, it's a necessity. But I understand to most people, it's probably not. Also, specifically the location in Hutto, where the bookshop is in the historic district. Historic districts are really well known for bookshops doing really well in them, because that's where people go for an experience. And when you go to an independent bookstore, typically you're not just going to find a book. You could do that on Amazon. I mean, I don't recommend it, but you certainly can, and people do, and that's fine. There are also a lot of young families here, and families with children in school. So SE&B is going to provide a lot of resources to those families. Another reason Hutto is because of its specific location and position to the Austin Round Rock metro area. It is a pass-through for so many people who maybe they live in Georgetown and they work in South Austin. My own mother does. And I know that many people travel all around Austin for work, and Hutto is a really common place people have to drive straight through all the time. So it's easy to access, whether you're in a more rural area or whether you are in a more urban like Austin. So not only do we have the residents of Hutto to look forward to serving, we can pretty reasonably expect to get to serve a lot of the people in our surrounding cities, especially when we do things like offer events that bookstores in Austin or in Georgetown or in Bastrop are not offering. When we're offering programs that are unique, they're willing to drive 30, 45 minutes, even an hour to get to. I have been writing and editing professionally for nearly a decade now. I have a degree in English literature, which has actually been really helpful. Even though I got teased about it in school, it turns out it was actually quite useful and continues to be quite useful. I've also worked in marketing and communications for the last 5 years or so as my primary source of income. I'm very excited to use those marketing and communication skills to promote the bookshop and our events and all that good stuff. I published my first book when I was 15, which was definitely too early to be publishing my first book. But that did start me off on a journey where I really got into the publishing industry early, quickly, and made all the mistakes that a human being can possibly make in the publishing industry. So I do know quite a bit about it now. As an insider, I understand the differences in submissions and self-publishing versus traditional publishing, and that's a process that I've coached a lot of writers through. I think I've now had the chance to mentor approximately 60 writers, which is amazing. Some of them have gone on to be published. Some of them are continuing to work towards publication. I also own Story Siren Studio, which is a production company. We produce podcasts like That Pretentious Book Club and the Scripturian Society, so very book literary themed. We also host writing retreats 4 times a year. So that's really fun. And through that and through the connections that I've made, I think our audience is approximately like 30,000. Significant enough that I've gotten to know and connect with a lot of our listeners and realize that there is a need for a place to connect, because those are the people who tend to isolate, pull back from society. I'm really excited because I've been in direct contact with these people for the Story Siren Studio started in 2021. So in really close contact with them and understanding like what the trends are, what do they need, what do they want, as well as being a reader and a writer myself and knowing the kind of things that I want and that I've struggled to not have access to. So now I'm in a place where I can provide that to people, and I'm really excited about it. SE&B's building has 2 levels. There are 2 rooms upstairs and there are 4 rooms downstairs, 5 rooms downstairs. All of these are a viable event space. However, one of the upstairs rooms is reserved specifically for events throughout the day. And this is a space that could be reserved for book clubs, tutoring, meetings, whatever it is. If somebody needs a private space or only needs a smaller space or wants to host something while we have other things going on. And then of course there's a large room downstairs, and that's going to be the main event center. We'll have a small stage so that we can host author reading signings. It's going to be super, super cool. And when it's not in use for that, it's just part of the bookstore. There are also other rooms that can be opened up for a larger event as well. We're going to have a PA system with microphones. We're going to have live music occasionally, author readings, author signings, poetry slams, workshops of all kinds, networking events. themed days, creative crawlers time for babies and toddlers. We're gonna do themed story hours for children, where somebody comes in a costume and reads to them, and they're able to ask questions. And all of this is going to be on a very regular basis. The primary costs that we're looking to cover right now are the equipment and sort of space improvement costs. Specifically to make our cafe and event spaces functional, we're looking to raise or come up with $31,600 approximately. That's going to cover 2 point-of-sale systems, a countertop where people can get together, sit down, read, write, socialize, the built-in bookshelves, dishwasher, refrigerated display case, folding chairs for events, a PA system for events, and an ice bin for those hot Texas days so we can offer cold drinks to people. Our plan is to, as quickly as possible, establish ourselves as a sort of cultural and economic cornerstone in Hutto. I think our location is perfect for that, and I think that our offerings are perfect for that. We want to get involved with local schools, we want to get involved with the library, we want to get involved with the city. We have a variety of revenue streams to rely on. So even though some bookstores may be affected by seasonality, with people purchasing more books during the holiday season for gifts and such, because that's just one part of our revenue, we don't have to worry too much about that. We also have our inventory because of how we are doing it. We're able to very quickly adapt to the changing trends, which even in book inventory and book sales is going to really make us somewhat impervious to some of the seasonality that more traditional bookstore inventory models might be more likely to struggle with. Workshops and events is another revenue stream. We have, of course, the cafe offerings, as well as online sales, which we hope to get up in the next 6 to 12 months. We're also going to offer things that make excellent gifts. These are journals, these are really fun pens, bookmarks, cards, as well as special orders that we put in for people, and then reservations for tutoring space, book clubs, writing groups, whatever it may be. So we have just under 1,800 square feet of space at the bookshop. And that means that depending on the day and depending on what sort of programs we have going on, this whole bookshop can be staffed by approximately somewhere between 1 and 4 people. And we're excited to hire more people when we are able to. We're also planning to hire interns, so that's exciting. So if there's, local youth looking for summer work, or somebody looking to get back into the workforce, or perhaps somebody who can only work so much due to physical conditions, whatever it may be, we're excited to offer paid internships and part-time positions for that as much as we're able to. Based on our projections and these multiple revenue streams, we are actually really well positioned to almost operationally break even within the first month, with a full investment recovery in our first 2 years. So I'm really excited to be able to implement all kinds of programs, because really the core of reading, the core of literacy is learning. And the point of that is to be able to live into your potential. So even if somebody doesn't want to be a best-selling fiction novelist, although I absolutely love that, we will definitely have resources for that person, those are not the only people who are going to feel comfortable and drawn into and served by SE&B. Thank you for watching this, and if you have any questions at all, I would love to hear from anybody, any questions. I'm an open book, and I'm very excited and very passionate, very driven. I want to be able to offer something really special to the people of Hutto and the surrounding areas. I hope that you guys want to be a part of that with me, and I thank you so much for your time.